Very few things in life sound as idyllic as being able to retreat to a beautiful cabin on a private acreage in the middle of the woods, being able to grow your own food and really retreat into nature. And this cabin in Vermont is a perfect example of just that.
Hi, I'm Katie.
And I'm Drew, and this is our small cabin. Yeah, the property is 3 acres in size, so it's a good manageable size. And the house fits comfortably in that space. We can have our vegetable garden right in next to the house, and then the other parts of the property we're using for those further out things like chickens eventually and fruit trees and that sort of thing. So we're slowly evolving it over time.
Yeah, we have walking paths all along the property. When we're clearing land, we want to be really conscious that we're still keeping it authentic and like it is in Vermont, a lot of woods.
We found it in a hot property market, so we had to jump real quick. We looked at it and we liked the layout. It was functional. It was very clever sort of design features in there that we appreciated, and we could just move straight on in and away we went. We bought it a guy, we bought it off, had built it himself, which is really beneficial for us. We have that contact with him still, and he answers any questions about the house. We had to add some little things, a heat pump and a washing machine and a few little touches to make it permanent.
Yeah, what inspired us to move into this small cabin in the woods is we really wanted to be outside a lot, and we wanted to live in a home that was small.
Makes it easier for us to prioritize our time better that suits us.
Life inside, to me personally, feels very unnatural. There's something about it. Sitting behind a computer at a desk sitting down is just not human. And so when you're outside, when you're standing, when your feet are in the earth, there's a connection to something that's so natural, so real, that's greater than us as human beings.
Yeah, the gardening for me, it's just, I always say it solves all the world's problems, and that's, but it just fills the gaps in your life of all those things, exercise and well-being. It just feels nice to me anyway. We've got a cool setup with an outdoor bathtub as well that we built when we first got here, a wood-fired one, so that's gets us outside, rather than being in the bathroom inside. So it's a nice feature because we can do it all year round. You can hop in the warm bath and the steam coming up, it's beautiful.
And we also love utilizing our fire pits that we have. So sometimes it's just nice to sit around it with friends, but we also use it to cook over. So we love doing wood-fired pizzas, and we have a nice little setup that goes over it. So that's another thing that gets us out of our kitchen in our house and out into the woods. Why don't you come inside and have a look?
So this is the entranceway to the house, which is a nice feeling when you come in. There's like a mud room, I guess. We can put all our boots and jackets and stuff there, and it's out of the way. A few bits of storage. Cupboard's really handy, actually. We can put just about everything we need in here. Just our shoes and vacuum cleaner and yoga mats. Everything can go in there, and it just allows the rest of the space just to not be cluttered with anything. And then it just flows straight on into the living room, and it's all open plan, so you can see everything. Plenty of windows, lots of cross ventilation with all the windows too. It's really beneficial. It doesn't get that hot in Vermont, but there are a few days where we need to really get some ventilation going. So it's just a nice square open space and opens up into the ceiling above into the rooms, and with a spiral staircase, it's got a nice cozy cabin feel about it when you first walk on in. And a cool feature we have here too, we can hang a screen down for a projector. The house is just long enough that it can fit this in. We put the projector here, we've got the length. It's far enough back, but it's this extra cool feature of being able to watch a movie on the big screen with some popcorn.
So the reason that we really decided to go with a small cabin rather than a tiny house was we realized that for my husband and I as a couple, it was probably going to be too small in order to do things such as hosting people to come over, having our family and friends to sleep in the space if they want to come for the weekend, and also just having enough space to store all of our stuff. Those were kind of concerns of ours of living in a tiny house rather than a small cabin. And my husband and I also know that we like our space and separation. So for us, a small cabin really provided that separation as well. So my husband and I both work from home. So we like to keep our work in one area and the feeling of actually being at home in a different area. And so that's really what the living room is for us. It's a space that we can feel relaxed, comfortable, a space that we can go and chat and talk. So over here is our dining area and also the space that we use to work. So we like it because you can sit here on your computer and look outside at the trees and the greenery and the sun. So that's really important for us. And since it is a small cabin, we like that the table is multifunctional, or the space is multifunctional. So this is our kitchen. And a reason that we love the kitchen is it's really big if you look at the square footage of the kitchen compared to the rest of the house. And when my husband and I were looking for a house, that was one of our main criteria, was finding a big space to be able to cook in. For us, one of the most important things in our lives is the food that we eat. So we knew that this space was going to get a lot of use, which it definitely does. We also like that the kitchen leads out into the garden, so we can grab vegetables really easily and then walk inside and kind of add to our meal. So we might be missing basil and we just quickly run out, come on in and put it in our dish, which is really nice. Our water that we get for the whole house is from a well. So we have also a space downstairs. You kind of have to crouch down, but that is where the hot water heater is kept, the water pump is kept, as well as some other things that are really necessary for this house to function. Over in here, we have our bathroom. We have a full-size shower and also a bathtub, and also just a nice big space for like brushing our teeth, all of the things that are really necessary. And we also just have traditional plumbing, so we don't utilize a compost toilet. We have a system that goes into a leach field. And the last part of the house is the upstairs. Upstairs, we have 2 bedrooms. This bedroom here is my husband and I's. And the first feature that we love about this bedroom is these 2 canvas curtains that can actually close. So if you have guests over, you have your own space in the bedroom. And we also have 2 drawers on both sides that pull out. And so these drawers are really nice to keep our clothes when you don't have any really closet space in the bedroom. And at night, you can look out and see the stars or the fireflies. So it's just a really nice feature of our small bedroom. Over here, we have the other bedroom, our guest bedroom, or the bedroom that we can have when our friends come over. And the nice thing about this bedroom is it also has space for storage underneath. So not necessarily clothes, but other things that we have throughout the house that we don't use as often. So when you live in a small cabin, it can feel like a lot with 2 people. So what's really nice about this extra room is that one of us can close off the canvas curtains, move the bed to the side, and set up a little desk here, sit on the ground, and just having that other space that you can go to in the house that feels like you can be alone for a little bit is really nice. I was living in New York City and I had watched this documentary called Minimalism, and I just started to question how I was living a life that was really filled with a lot of consumerism. I quit my job and just sold all my possessions, started to go traveling. That's when Drew and I had reconnected, and we just started to think about how we wanted to live, not the way that we grew up or the way that we were conditioned to live, but what we really wanted. And so we started to pursue jobs that were more in line with our passions. With that lifestyle, we had to simplify because we weren't making as much money. We were living in Sri Lanka, which was a very simple lifestyle. We weren't buying anything. And when the pandemic hit, we came back to America and we realized it was very hard to live this lifestyle that we had kind of created for ourselves.
Yeah, I think living in Sri Lanka too, we were forced into always living in just a small room or a small hotel room as a part of what we were doing there, and small guest houses. So we kind of got a feel for it there, but we're getting by just fine. Living in a small space, it's pretty easy and it actually suits us. So it's like that just transition when we came back here, we're like, we'll just keep that going. Like now we know it's easy.
And we spent more time just living. We would go to the beach a lot, and we spent a lot of time with our friends. We really got to sit down and enjoy tea and coffee and laugh, and we were still working, but
pressure wasn't on.
Yeah, and sometimes when you're just living a certain lifestyle and you're just going and going and going, you don't even question how you're living. And that's what I was doing in New York City. I was just living like everyone else was. I didn't have the clarity to even think there was a world outside of that. That's what my friends were doing, and I wasn't taught any different. So I think seeing that, especially that lifestyle in Sri Lanka and living there and thriving in it, we were really inspired that when we moved back home, we were we need to try to retain a little bit of that. So the cost of the home was $160,000. So we put down $80,000, and then we took out a loan for $80,000. And we're only about 9 months into the loan. We've already paid off $20,000 of that. So we have $60,000 left, and we will potentially be able to pay off this house in 3 more years.
And even quicker. It's just smaller, you can get it down. It's just snowball. You can pay it off quicker. You get your principal down quicker, and there's just so many benefits to going small with your house, and then that brings the mortgage down. It's just exponentially beneficial financially.
Yeah, and then we at the end of our day just being together and enjoying the food that we grow and our home together. And so it's really special that's what we get to focus on at the end of our days, is just enjoying each other's company, the property, the house, and just the beauty of living in this place.
For Katie and Drew, moving into this cabin was all about rediscovering a more natural way of being, creating a simpler and yet more fulfilling life for themselves. And I would say that is exactly what they've been able to accomplish. Everything about this cabin just looks like a dream come true, and I am so happy they've been able to find this place for themselves.